When Sergeant Elias Ward stood at attention in the Grand Hall of Concordance, he expected applause, maybe a medal, and a short speech translated into 300 alien dialects. That was how interspecies commendations usually went. What he did not expect was silence. The hall itself was breathtaking. Vast arches grown rather than built, bioluminescent patterns crawling slowly across the walls like living constellations. Delegates from a dozen star systems filled the terraces, their bodies armored in exoskeletons, scales, robes, or energy fields. Elias felt painfully human in his simple Earth military uniform. He had survived the siege of Karen Prime. He had held the evacuation corridor alone for 17 minutes while alien civilians, escaped. He had been shot twice, stabbed once, and exposed to radiation levels that should have killed him. This ceremony was supposed to be the galaxy's way of saying thank you. The High Arbiter floated forward, its voice resonating directly inside every mind present. Human Sergeant Elias Ward, your actions preserved the lineage of House Sorinth and prevented the collapse of the Thalrex Empire. Elias swallowed. Okay. So far, so good. For such service, the Empire has determined a reward befitting the value of your sacrifice. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Elias noticed several alien delegates turn their heads, some in confusion, some in what looked disturbingly like anticipation. The Arbiter gestured. The doors behind the dais opened. And that was when Elias realized something had gone very wrong. Middle. She stepped forward slowly, her posture straight, her expression unreadable. The alien woman, no, princess, was tall, graceful, her skin a deep iridescent blue threaded with faint silver veins that pulsed gently with her heartbeat. Her eyes were gold, luminous, ancient in a way Elias had never seen before. She wore ceremonial armor, light but elegant, marked with sigils of royalty. The High Arbiter spoke again. Princess Valeth of House Sorinth, sole surviving heir. Elias felt his stomach drop.
Wait.
The Arbiter continued. By ancient Thalrex law, a life debt may be repaid not with metal or title, but with bloodline. The meaning hit him like a kinetic round. This is a mistake, Elias said out loud before he could stop himself. The translators hesitated, then rendered his words faithfully. Princess Valeth stopped 3 paces from him. She studied his face, not with anger, but with something closer to curiosity. You held the corridor, she said, her voice musical but firm. You could have fled. You did not. I was ordered to, Elias replied automatically. Her eyes narrowed slightly.
No.
Your orders ended when your commander fell. You stayed anyway. The hall buzzed now, delegates whispering. Elias felt sweat bead beneath his collar. Look, he said carefully, addressing the Arbiter. I'm honored. Truly. But I didn't save anyone for a reward. And I definitely didn't agree to this. The Arbiter tilted, its form shimmering. Human cultural expectations of reward are limited. That stung more than he expected. Princess Valeth turned fully toward him now. In my people's history, she said, a life saved binds destinies. You preserved my bloodline with your own body. The law demands reciprocity. So, I get married? Elias asked flatly. A faint smile touched her lips. Quick, almost sad.
No, she said.
You are offered. The difference was subtle and terrifying. The human diplomatic delegation erupted into protests, but the Arbiter silenced them with a thought. The choice remains the humans. But understand this. Refusal dissolves the treaty that now protects your colonies from Thalrex retaliation. Elias stared. Of course it does. He glanced at Princess Valeth again. For the first time, He noticed the tension in her shoulders, the way her hands curled slightly at her sides. She wasn't untouched by this either. "You don't want this," he said quietly. "I want my people to survive," she answered. "And you are the variable the universe inserted." That night, Elias was given quarters overlooking a living city grown from crystal and coral. He slept poorly. Princess Valeth requested a private meeting before dawn. They spoke for hours. She told him about her world, about the war that had taken her family, about the burden of being the last. He told her about Earth, about mud and rain and stupid jokes soldiers told before battle. "You humans are strange," she said softly. "You form bonds without ritual." "We don't like being alone," Elias replied. She looked at him, then really looked. "Neither do we," she admitted. The ceremony was delayed. Debates raged across the galaxy. In the end, Elias made his choice. He would accept, not as property, not as conquest, but as a bridge. On his terms. Ending. The Union was unlike anything in recorded history. No chains. No oaths of obedience. No forced heirs. Instead, Elias Ward was named Consort Guardian, a role created specifically for him. He would not rule, but he would stand beside. Princess Valeth, now Empress Valeth, rewrote ancient law within her first solar cycle. "Bond," she declared, "does not mean ownership. It means responsibility." Some Thalrex nobles rebelled. They underestimated humans. Elias didn't command fleets or issue decrees. He did something far more dangerous. He listened. He questioned traditions no one had ever dared to. He treated servants and soldiers alike. He refused luxuries during famine cycles. When assassination attempts came, and they did, he survived them the way humans always had, stubbornly, painfully, and without quitting. Over time, the galaxy noticed something strange. Thalrex policy softened. Border wars slowed. Human diplomats found doors opening where there had once been plasma cannons. And the story spread. Not that a human had been given a princess, but that an alien empire had realized something critical about humanity. Humans didn't measure worth in gold or bloodlines. They measured it in choice. Years later, Elias stood once more in the grand hall of concordance, older now, scarred, but unbowed. This time, he wore no uniform. Valeth stood beside him, her hand resting lightly on his arm, a gesture that still shocked traditionalists. The High Arbiter addressed the assembly. Let history record, the human did not take a princess. He took responsibility. Elias leaned toward Valeth and whispered, "Still think I should have taken the medal?" She smiled, radiant and real. "I think," she said, "the galaxy received something rare." Outside, under twin suns, human and alien children played together, unaware that their future had been decided by one soldier who stayed when he could have run, and by an empire wise enough to reward humanity not with honor alone, but with trust.